Man, oh man, ladies and gentlemen, what an insane video I have for you guys today. If somebody watching right now has never seen anything that's made them question what sort of planet they're living on, I find it hard to believe, but today is the day. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at a part of a debate where Michael Knowles took on 25 LGBTQ plus activists, and they simply could not handle what he had to say because, as we know, truth, reality, common sense are these very triggering things to a lot of people, and as soon as they experience it, the meltdown begins. And as you would expect, trans issues, they're a big discussion here, and the way you're gonna see Michael Knowles deal with this very emotional man is kind of funny. Now, I'm not going to waste any more of your time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get straight into it, but before we do, as always, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating as it really helps out the video. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into it.
Hi.
Hello.
Blossom. She, her, hers powerhouse.
Blossom Powerhouse, lovely to meet you.
Yes. Go ahead. I want to know your ideology around transgenderism, something that doesn't exist. It just sounds more like conservative propaganda. So I kind of want to know a little bit more about what you're trying to communicate.
Okay, I think for all of history everywhere, people have understood the human person to have something to do with his body. So like your body has something to do with who you are. Now there is an alternative view, which is called Gnosticism. It's a view that our bodies don't really have anything to do with who we are, that the body is maybe even evil, and that our true selves have no connection to our bodies. And I see in the transgender ideology a kind of Gnosticism that says that you could look like a man, you could have a man's genetics, you could have a man's genitals, you could have a man's everything, but if you feel on some deep level that you're really a woman, then you are really a woman. And I don't think that's true, and I think that the social effects of that are really bad because it leads to the depriving women of their legitimate rights. In some cases it leads to rapes, notably in the last few years, and it also leads to women losing their sports competitions and their scholarships, and it's just disordered and false. And it also leads to more people adopting this identity, which leads to very high rates of anxiety, depression, and so it's bad for everyone, and it's not grounded in reality.
Oh, I don't even think you understand what you say sometimes. I don't think you even understand what you say, because when we talk about these rape cases of women in the restroom, they're coming from cis men like you. So let's be very clear where it's coming from.
No, that's not true. In 2021,
excuse me, do not interrupt a black
well, I'm just trying to correct you. Well, I would never interrupt a black woman.
No, thank you. Here's the thing about me, as a black trans woman, I am not a threat to cis women, and I think it is harmful that you are going around here spewing that rhetoric, weaponizing this rhetoric against trans people.
Weaponizing facts?
Transgenderism does not exist. We as trans people exist. We are 1% of the population, and there is a lot of power in the trans identity because you are sitting here spewing something to me that doesn't really exist.
I'm not spewing anything.
I'm just gonna pause it there. You know, you heard him say they're 1% of the population. It's crazy because they're 1% apparently, and yet they control so much of the narrative, or did control so much of the narrative. It's very strange, isn't it? And look, with the whole bathroom situation with men identifying as women and then going into these places, shouldn't be happening in the very first place. But yes, okay, not every single person is going to be a threat to a woman in there. But why take that risk just so a man out there can live out his delusion? It doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't do that anywhere else. But just because somebody identifies as something and you've got to respect their feelings, you've got to allow it to happen. It does lead to women being affected by this, which I find kind of strange because every single person in this room would say, yes, I stand up for women's rights. I stand up for women's safety. But they're all okay with men going into these places, sports, locker rooms, etc., etc. Again, how does that make any sense?
I have lived experience. You don't, and you never will. But I do have a question.
I have lived experience.
What if one of your kids came out as trans? How would you react to that?
God forbid. I mean, I would obviously love my children, and I would try to do what's best for my children. And the best thing that I could do to be respectful and also to be conducive to their flourishing is to tell them the truth, which is that they're not really girls.
Oh. Come on. I can't even imagine your relationship with your children. No shade.
It's great. That was a great relationship.
I just cannot even imagine that. But here's the reality. We exist. Again, people like you do not have the intellectual capacity to hold conversations like this because in a minute you're going to reduce this down to genitalia, and then we're going to have to shift it somewhere else because obviously people like you, that's where they go, right?
In a minute, what I'm going to do is correct something you said. When you said that the that have occurred in these bathrooms are cis men.
White cis men, I should say, actually.
That isn't true. Loudoun County, 2021, the big case that actually ended up flipping the state was because there was a boy who wore a skirt, went into the girl's bathroom and raped a girl in a particularly hideous way. And you know what happened? Hold on, don't cut me off. You said you wouldn't.
A cis boy. It was not a trans woman. All y'all do is go back to cis boys. You're always talking about cis boys. I don't understand the fascination with trans bodies and what's happening in the bathroom. It is mostly happening.
I think you're filibustering because you don't want me to tell you what happened in the bathroom.
Filibuster who?
Me. I think you're filibustering
child,
me.
No.
I think that you're distracting from the fact that a boy wearing a skirt in a girl's bathroom raped a girl.
But not a trans woman.
Well, there's no such thing as a trans woman.
Oh, yes, it is. You're looking at one right now.
I'm looking at.
You're looking at me
I'm
right
looking
now.
at a
lived experience.
I'm looking
with
at a
lived experience. You are looking at a trans woman who has been transitioning for over 20 years, who has lived experience.
Yes.
You're talking to an activist here.
But your identity is not grounded in reality.
You're talking to somebody that's extreme. Oh, I am reality.
I'm not really talking to anyone because you keep talking over me.
In your head, I'm not, but I am in reality.
Yeah.
I'm here in front of you right now talking to you.
You're confused about your identity.
No, you are confused at the fact that you don't really have any talking points right now because I'm.
Then why aren't you letting me speak?
You really don't.
If I have nothing to say, why aren't you letting me speak?
Put me on your show. How about that?
Then it would become your show, I think.
Oh yeah, I should have a show. I should have a show.
In 2018, there were 2 in bathrooms, and one in Wisconsin, one in Georgia.
From men,
also because of the transgender identity.
But say it, cis men.
If you're going to describe a boy who wears a skirt and goes into a girl's bathroom as a cis man, no, I didn't.
No, you are. This is the example that you run to. Past that, you have nothing.
I've just given you 3 examples. I've given you 3 examples in recent years.
You don't. You've been struggling this entire time.
News to me, have I?
Yeah, you have.
I think the trans lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Bye. Goodbye.
Perhaps I'll see you on my show.
Yes, invite me.
Yeah.
Get my email. Tell your people to get my email address. How about that?
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't know what they're clapping for. They got absolutely embarrassed. And did you see when Michael Knowles was being calm, presenting his argument, they just got very emotional. Oh my gosh, no, this is... And that's how these people act. When they know they have nothing else to say, they'll just resort to talking over you, insulting you, as he did with saying, I can't imagine what your relationship is like with your kids, to Michael Knowles. Because these people, as much as they think they do, don't have an argument based in reality. Because their whole identity in the first place isn't based in reality. It's based in delusion. And I don't get why it's so hard for these people to admit that bad things do go on if you allow men into women's spaces. Like, why is it so hard for them? And as soon as Michael Knowles started going on about a particular case, he spoke over him because he didn't want Michael Knowles saying what he had to say. Quite simply, there should be no justification for a dude going into a women's space. We all know this. I don't have to sit here and say that. And you can just tell these people are not okay. And this is how they all act. You can have a simple conversation with them, but they start to get very emotional. And that to me shows they're just not mentally stable. And I really liked the point that Michael Knowles made about, what if his kid came out as trans? He would tell them the truth. He would essentially say, no, you are not the opposite gender. And that's how people need to be. We have too many parents out there, too many adults who, let's be honest, are weak. And as soon as a child comes out and says they're the opposite gender for whatever reason, they don't want to upset their child. They don't want to say no. So what happens? Are you sure? Okay, I respect that. Nah, you can't be doing that. And that's where we've got to right now. Because feelings have been placed on a higher pedestal than the truth, reality, common sense, we have all of these situations going on. And you've heard me say this multiple times now. Because society for so long has been scared to say no to anybody, and for the last few years, the woke activists, the LGBTQ plus activists have got their way. They haven't been told no, they've been wrapped up in cotton wool. And that is the wrong thing to do because you create a weak society, a mentally unstable society. But you can't say that because otherwise Blossom over here will say to you, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't think you know what you're talking about. It's interesting they can come out and say, I really don't think you know what you're talking about when they're the ones who are confused about themselves in the first place. But ladies and gentlemen, leave your thoughts down below. What are your thoughts on this debate that you saw? If you want to see me react to other ones that are going around, because boy, these people, yeah, the way Michael Knowles deals with them is great. But if you want to see me react to more of these videos, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed, once again, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your host JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.